This is the final ground test of my Skywriting light painting rig on an airplane before I see if it'll fit all in the airplane again, which may be tricky since I've added some parts, and take it up to take some pictures tomorrow with a photographer who actually knows what they're doing. Should be exciting. So, basic overview, I've got a RC transmitter to fly the plane. I won't be flying, my buddy Joe is flying, since he can actually fly this rig with all the extra weight and the wings strapped on the bottom, which is not where it's supposed to be. And so he can fly. He also has a switch here between nav lights and the current pattern. So you put that down for pattern, flip it back up as kind of the emergency escape, go back to nav light so you can actually see the plane and not get disoriented by whatever weird patterns it's doing in the pitch black night. While he's flying the plane, I'm going to be flying the lights. So we've got a nifty little ground station here, which is my remote control for the lighting. And this is wired up to the RC transmitter, the radio, via it's called a buddy box cable, a trainer cable. So this little Digispark processor is sending out servo PPM data, like the transmitter wants to see. And whenever I hit the trainer switch on the transmitter, it takes over and starts sending data. The data it's sending, I don't know if you can read that, it's things like the selected image, I've got 10 of them pre-programmed in here, the brightness for the LED strip, the amount of time to show each line, which is going to depend on how fast it's flying, a blank time between frames if we want discrete pixels instead of a blur, and there's a setting for the throttle so it can keep flying while it's in the air. The weird thing about using the trainer cable for that is as soon as Joe hits the trainer button to give control to the microprocessor, he stops being able to fly the airplane. Fortunately, that process doesn't take very long. It's only about a second. You can see the tail lights on the airplane flash. So they'll flash green if they get a good packet, or red if they get a bad packet. And that way you know when you can let go of the trainer switch, when it's gotten the updated information. That information is sent over the RC radio link basically by setting servo positions. So it's using two of the receiver channels. One of them is just a clock, it's either on or off, and the other one is one of 10 different positions. So I can easily tell the difference between 10 different positions for that servo. And then I treat that as a decimal digit, do a simple checksum, and then process the data on the microcontroller on the plane. Now I was intending to also read the navigation switch here, just between pattern and navigation lights, using the pulses from the receiver, but it turns out that when the controller on the plane, the Teensy, is trying to display up to a frame every 20 milliseconds, and the receiver's period is about 22 milliseconds, it wasn't able to read the receiver at all while it was displaying that. So what I needed was basically something else to process the servo pulses for me and tell me whether it's either on or off. And there's a very simple little gadget that does that. It's called a receiver controlled switch, and you can see its little red LED here is going on and off when I flip the switch. It takes a servo signal from the receiver and just sends a simple, it's the +5 voltage out these pins, and that goes to the Arduino and can be read as a simple digital input. So while it's busy pulling data from the SD card and pumping it out to the LED strip, it can keep an eye on that pin, and if that goes low again, it can bail out back to the nav lights and start reading the receiver to see incoming data, digital data. So anyway, we've got a couple of patterns loaded on here. Here's some nifty sine waves I think will be fun to watch in the sky. There's 3 different sine waves going at different speeds. There's of course Nyan Cat, a couple of logos, Pac-Man. See him getting chased by the ghosts across the night sky. Nice little rainbow fade. More racing dots. These are all sine waves, which I'm personally partial to. And some checkerboard patterns that look especially cool when the plane is moving. So if it's turning or changing altitude or whatever, you can see it turns it into sort of a 3D shape in the air. So lots of stuff to experiment with. Let's see what else. My little control box here is a completely portable. So it's tethered to the transmitter with a buddy box cable, but it's USB powered with this little battery pack, and it's got a handy built-in flashlight that is not really that useful, but what it is doing is sinking enough current for the battery pack to stay on. Otherwise it'll shut off because the microcontroller and the display are not drawing enough power for it to think that anything's plugged in. So next I have to see if it'll fit all back in the plane, which may be challenging. And tomorrow night is the photo shoot for it. And I'm very excited about that. Hope to have more to share with you soon. Thanks for watching.